Oh, you're getting up already.
The sun is shining, there's a bit of a breeze. It's a perfect day for speech Frisbee.
We have two European standouts here.
We are moments away from the opening pull now.
Deep breaths before the madness begins.
Greatest attempt! Oh my goodness, we have to keep it alive! My brains are melting out of my ears! What is going on out there?
Women's division champions!
Gold medal winners here on the beach. European Beach Ultimate Club champions.
Thank you and enjoy the show.
Very good morning, one and all, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in at EBUCC, the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships, here in the beautiful hazy beaches of Gdańsk, Poland. You're currently going to be tuning in to the bronze medal match in the women's division. Sharks from Barcelona versus Seagulls from Hamburg. I am Gigi Morrison. I'm delighted to be joined in the booth with Stefan Pazzo.
How you doing, Gigi?
I'm a little bit tired.
It's the first thing in the morning. Understandable. We had a big day yesterday. The brackets worked their way all the way through. And these teams were the unfortunate losers of those last games. They got so far, getting so deep in, but only two teams can make the final in each division, and these are the ones that just missed out in front of us. Sharks, you see there, from Barcelona. They'll be taking on the Seagulls of Hamburg. And both these teams have been quite impressive throughout. I think the Sharks are a team that are known to do their best work on the beach. They specialize on the beach, while the Hamburg club does play on grass with a bit more frequency. But they have also excelled on the beach big time. In 2018, they won this tournament, European champions. Of course, a lot of turnover from there. But this does set ourselves up well. We've got a few players we're going to have a good look at here. We'll maybe start on the Shark side. Luna Andrade, one of ULTI.TV's own. We love to claim them because they're so wonderful of a human being. But also, Luna is just a pure distributor. She really sits behind the offense, gets every other touch when everything's working really well for them. Great distributor, sees a lot of the openings around her, but can also open up with the deep shot too. Who else are we looking at on the Sharks, Gigi?
Looking at Aina Perez, who I believe is one of the captains of this Sharks side. She does have a few more stats to her name. 15 goals and 10 assists. Is honestly really quite impressive. Certainly making a massive effort. We saw a flying bid from Perez across the pitch.
Looking to the other side. Lots of players to watch. Kushnitsky, one of them, as we get underway here. It is the Seagulls with the first possession.
Starting pretty much on time. Kushnitsky slashes down the line, has to bid. First turnover, first points. Maybe some early morning jitters Sunday morning. It has been a long weekend. So I wouldn't be too surprised if some fatigue is beginning to set in. The Sharks defense. Benedicto. Across to Prada. And then Colomer. It's been a pick call. Kama was wide open on that undercut there.
It's suspiciously open, we say.
I try to avoid saying suspiciously open, but the disc has gone back into the hands of the original thrower.
As the conversation ensues. But it looks like we're ready to play again here. Sharks ball.
Check back in. Benedicto open on the undercut. There has been a foul, not on the original cutter, but somewhere else in the stack between Schilke and Prada.
Slow going start here. Turnover and a couple calls. No rhythm available for anyone yet.
Everything's been resolved nicely. Benedito back on disc. Escalona slashes up the line. The dishes in the front end zone line. Break for Sharks. Kama with the score.
That's one way to kick things off. The Escalona upline cut really was the first burst of legitimate energy in the game. There are a couple misses, a couple stop starts with the calls, and then finally they called back up again. Escalona screams up the line, gets fed the pass, and next throw to score. So a interesting start for Sharks. They don't mind how that goes. They ended up generating a turn, cashed it in, start the game with the first break on the board.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy that you want to bring on a Sunday morning, especially coming into the bronze medal match. This is obviously the last game that these two teams will be playing for this tournament, so they've got everything to give, every little ounce of energy. Cope on the under. Disc just caught in the wind, sailing over their head ever so slightly, and immediately picking up, looking for the second break of the game. They succeed. Sharks are really bringing the energy this morning.
Wow, are they ever? It's a little bit of Seagulls unable to put a foot right. First throw turnovers on both instances. And Sharks able to jam it back the other way, this time even more efficiently. One throw, isn't it? It's Escalona on the pickup and throw right away. 1 for 1, 100% scoring throws on that possession.
This is some clean breaks. The wind already wreaking a bit of havoc. It's not too blustery, but we've already mentioned it a few times this weekend, but the wind here is quite swirly, so it's a bit more difficult to predict. It's not your typical upwind, downwind, crosswind. Some patches of the pitch are going to be upwind, some are going to be crosswind. You just have to be able to think whilst you're throwing a bit more than you'd actually anticipate. Kunai to Brugner. Oh, that was a phenomenal catch from Krasnitsky. High pressure with the defense from Prada. Stockhout rising, but finds Kunai. I didn't like the break option, goes for the simple. Back to the sideline. Beautiful lead pass to Schilke. Sharks have found some flow. There does seem to be a receiver wide open, but there is a pick.
I thought Benedicto had a good line on that. I was expecting to see another D. Great catch to keep that one alive.
Yeah, well-placed cut and a well-placed throw to match. Schilke trying to find some options. Had Krasnitsky in the back for the higher stall count, looking for Maya in the back of the end zone, but defended by Kama. No call, turnover. Another opportunity for Sharks to get their third break of the game.
Kama puts that one to bed, taking another opportunity for the Sharks to be able to break. Opening the game with 3 in a row would be monumentous. Benedicto walks it to the line.
And doing it with her own pace. Oh, pressure on the reception for Prada.
Heck of a bid.
Trevino. Dishes, give, go. This movement very typical of Sharks. Benedicto uncorks the arm. Prada having to go to sand. Goodness me, that was so close.
Yeah, she got the right arm out. I mean, I don't think the left would have made it. It would have been the more proper hand to put in front there to get in front of the disc. It would have had to be trailing edge that way she went. And there was a great looking effort. It required some body torsion to even have the bid at it, but not to be this time.
The first falter from the Sharks D-line. Seagulls now have another opportunity. Maya finds Kunai. Kunai again with the up line. Beautiful throw to Maya. As Brugner in the backfield sails over Kosnitsky's head. The Sharks defense is really applying the pressure this morning.
Yeah, they are a little bit of everywhere. You got to give it to the Sharks, making life difficult, taking the unders upfield, high pressure in the dump space, really only giving availabilities for the Hucks, and Seagulls aren't that ambitious for them.
Kama back to Benedicto. Prada to Trevino. Matteo. Trevino. Didn't like the open side option. Takes on the secondary one. Benedicto soars over the sand.
Wow. Lucia Benedicto and this Sharks defensive unit are coming out firing. They had a nice warm-up, that's for sure. I mean, we saw them in action warming up, and they looked good. They looked locked in, but to see them come out like this is just next level. They're letting the O-line play D now after 3 points in a row. They've had some sticking to their lines there, letting the D-line cook, but 3 in a row. They're getting 3 breaks in a row. Let your O-line chase a pull here. Benedicto, a player who has just been on the rise. Every new time I've seen her play, she seems to be doing more. I remember in the Paganello loose mixed final last year, I was uncertain of her. I think I called her as an Italian, and she let me know that I was very wrong after the fact. But a player improving every single time out.
A slightly different line from Seagulls. Geiger floaty backhand over the top to Geriger. Some quick give-go movement. Lauron has Geriger in the back, but the Shark defense is smothering and suffocating. The stall count rising. That was an inside flick shot, just with a little bit of panic on the edge of it.
Yeah, it's a case of everything that can go wrong is going wrong right now for the Seagulls. Credit to the Sharks defense, but Seagulls, the harsh way of saying it is they're not quite awake yet, but something's got to start clicking for them.
Andrade. Tomas. Andrade slicing through the sun, goes to sand and bids successfully.
Luna.
That is exactly why they were one of our highlight players for this game. And in return, a beautiful backhand around Tomas. What a sequence of events, Steph.
Luna Andrade, you legend. Chucks the body. You saw down on her haunches there for a second, catching her breath after knocking a fair part of that wind out on the landing, but to no effect. Got up, dialed herself back in, threw an absolute dime for Julia Mas to get up and take down. Another break, another goal. It's 4-0. Is this, is it time to start thinking about the early timeout? You don't want to let it slip too far, Gigi.
Certainly, I would definitely, well, I would have considered it at least after the third break.
And now really consider. That looks like they're going to let it ride.
Yeah, there was maybe some sort of discussion or assertion before this game that we're unaware of in maintaining confidence in their own abilities, being able to keep a level head. And it's often the mental game is more difficult in these circumstances than the actual physical one, despite Beach being physically very difficult itself. Beautiful find to Maya. Really opened up the pitch. Krebs. Another fantastic shot. Will they be able to get their first point? And they do! There almost was a second of hesitation, of thought. Did the Seagulls receiver actually get to it? But they did.
Escalona really tried to shut down the door, but not to be denied this time. Vibke Brugner charged down into that corner and assured the goal with the bid on the front side hip here. Here's another look. Great focus all the way through to ensure that one and put the Seagulls on the boards, maybe negating our call for wanting a timeout. The the better way to do it is just to put a hold on the board and get your defense out there. Let's see if they can get their defense cooking now.
Yeah, maybe there was this thought and understanding that they're maybe coming out a bit slow, feeling that lower energy this morning, and just wanting to keep grinding through, finding that spark, and they seem to have found it. Now bringing it to 4-1. So brick pull, Kobos taking it in from a third of the way down the pitch. Andrade showing their throwing prowess. Perez opens up the field to Mas. Mas opening up for herself. Perez gets the bid. Successful. Oh, not
no.
successful.
I thought so too, Gigi.
From our angle, it looked successful, but this sand has been frustrating for a lot of players. We've seen a fair few ground strips.
Those two have such a great connection playing together. Sighted, I thought she was going to throw to her on the forehand side initially. I don't think she didn't like the cut, but I do think the mark kind of moved into her throwing lane. She flipped the grip, turned around to the backhand, and, well, was inches away.
Immediate, without hesitation, massive huck to Cope, just sails out the sideline. Lots of pressure from Colomer underneath. I like the look.
So do I. I thought that was going to work. I like the pressure, too. I like the defensive pressure. There was separation early, the no quit, and a little extra float on that disc gave an opportunity for Colomer to make it that much more difficult in tight quarters towards the sideline.
Andrade, that is sailing over Massa's head. There is a foul. That part of the pitch, that front corner, can be really tricky to get out of. So I wasn't too surprised that the throw was errant, but again, I'm also not surprised that the foul was there. So check back in at 0. Andrade doesn't take on the inside, takes on the open instead. Tomas finds Andrade again in the middle of the pitch. Perez. Mas. Cuts have become a bit more stagnant, so the throws have to open up the pitch instead. Kobos. Wanting Mas, but the flying layout bid. Phenomenal work.
I think that was Laurun, and that was a fantastic bid. I thought that was all good. Throw looked good out of hand. The lane was there, but it closed down very quick with that layout.
And that's the kind of energy that we're needing from Seagulls. Get that fire burning. Another longer throw to Geiga in the end zone. Picture perfect. Frustration from Andrade, but elation for Seagulls.
And boy, oh boy, did they need that. Their first break of the game, second point of the game. They're still down a handful. When you're counting in breaks, they're down even more than the scoreboard leads you to believe. But great response by the Seagulls. That spark from Laurun to get them the disc back, but also to give them that energy. A layout like that does bring so much to the team as far as confidence goes. And you saw exactly what it brought with the ensuing throw.
We've got a lot of action for you coming up today. So this is obviously the women's bronze medal. Next up, we've got the mixed bronze medal and the open bronze. And then in the same sequence of the women's mixed and open, we'll have all of the finals. And you can catch all of the action on ULTI.TV, live on YouTube, completely for free. Please do leave us a comment, like and subscribe, of course. But let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Come say hi. We love speaking to you. The Sharks O-line coming back out. Mas trying to find some options. Does find Benedito on the around. Inside throw to Perez. Another inside throw. I thought that was going to Prada, but instead went to Mas. That is how you answer back to Seagulls' first break. A clean hold, nice and easy.
And with 7 goals scored, the oddity of this game is that there's only been 2 holds. They have both been clean, but they are the minority as far as scoring mannerisms go. And for the Sharks, I do agree with you that if they're going to maintain this lead, maintain the momentum, sure, they gave up a break. They've got a whole back pocket full of them. But to be able to come back and just clean, tidy hold, 6 pass, work your way down the field, no high stall counts, that's going to be very good for them to be sitting on that lead and feel like they've got a decent padding.
There's a 2 points away from half for Sharks. But I feel like Seagulls have definitely got something to say about that. They're not going to let themselves go down at all, really, but definitely not easily. Seeing a bit more fire now from Seagulls. But the Sharks D-line with a beautifully soaring pull. Geerge Fields. Sevald. Geerge. Back to Sevald. Around to Cope. Just on the edge of the sideline. Shades to protect their vision, having to go to sand. Laurun.
I liked the defensive switch there, but Seavold still managed it.
Seavold looking for an option. Doesn't necessarily has to go for the dish behind. That was on the edge of a stall count. Prada was ready to call it, but the turn will stand regardless.
Sharks very happy to take their time with this one on the transition. Looks like the birthday girl, Linda San Marco, is going to pick up the disc here, Gigi. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday indeed. Quick dish over the top to Prada for the birthday girl. 3 handlers at the back wanting to isolate the 2 cutters. Opening up the field with throws. Escalona to Benedicto, just straddling the end zone line to Kama. Second goal of the game for Kama.
Sharks are chomping for this bronze medal right now. Breaking with high frequency there. Again, a bit of a gift of a turnover. Seavold just had a miscommunication look. And when it goes to the backfield, it really hurts more. You just lose field position and possession all at once. And the Sharks were clinical on the pickup from the birthday girl all the way on to the goal to Kama. They, again, moved the disc with ease, with precision, and with very few stall counts mounting beyond 3.
And it was that quick step cut from Kama that got her completely free in the end zone. And their D-line is really grinding through this. They are absolutely stifling and smothering any options for Seagulls. That's why they got to such a high stall count. The team defense shut down every single option. Made it so difficult for Seagulls to have any opportunity whatsoever. Seeing lots of support for Sharks in the comments. Vamos Sharkitas.
Barcelona fans in the stands as well. The Sharks male open team. They'll be playing for gold later today. Oh goodness, Gigi.
A bubble from Krips. Maybe try to consider the next option before having the disc completely controlled in our hands. Escalona. Dishes over the top flick. That one is also a little too low, wrong edge. Sinks right down into the sand. That would have been extremely difficult to catch.
Would have been a half taker for Sharks already. And we are, just 20 minutes into this game thus far.
Kosnitsky. Didn't like the initial options. Takes the simple under to Schielke. Has Krebs in the backfield. Looking for Kosnitsky, but smacked down by Prada instead. This is the pressure that we're talking about. Nothing is easier for Seagulls at all.
That was a serious smackdown by Prada, and that is a bit of what they're getting in all facets of the game right now, except for right there.
And again, the quick lapse of concentration, trying to think ahead of your next move, but also trying to secure something. Escalona did have to go full extension. It's not easy to get the clap catch from there. Brugner. Brugner sends it. That one is floaty. Can Schilke get there? Ooh, almost.
Certainly not the intended receiver, but almost a very good backup plan there. Came within a meter, certainly, of being able to make a play on that.
The unintended release, the unintended shape. Benedicto looks long for the misread from Matteo. Standing a bit too short. That also, I mean, even having to chase that down, that was a bit of a laser.
Yeah, it was coming a bit too fast. It needed to have some float. And finally, we see a timeout from the Seagulls. I think amidst this long point, they've got lots of thinking to do out here, Gigi.
I think both sides do. We've seen a fair few turnovers so far. There's 6 total turnovers in this point. And just as these teams have a quick discussion, reconfigure, we will also take a break. We'll see you after these messages. And just as the Sharks sideline, the men see the open team in the stands are cheering on their counterparts for their defense. Seagulls took the time out to try and reconfigure after 6 turnovers in this point. Krasnitsky finds Maya. Maya up the line. That would have been a difficult read. Can we get the second reception? Almost.
Got hands to it again, nearly good for a backup plan. And it was Schilke again in that spot, the potential for it, but bounces off the hands, no fault of her own. And Sharks will pick up once again.
Escalona in the front end zone corner. Prada. Kama with a clap catch bid. Dishes immediately back to Benedicto. Escalona. Just making sure she's got hold of the disc. There seems to be a foul call on the force. Accepted. Beautiful hand signals. Love that for us. Love that for everyone. There seems to be a violation as well. Players moving. They're a bit too eager this morning.
Hey, slow down out there. Just kidding. Go faster.
Not very many cuts being generated here.
I did just hear the halftime cap being called, Gigi.
It doesn't seem to affect us half as at 7 anyway.
Yeah, unless Seagulls score.
This is true. So I can feel the nervous energy coming off of both teams. They seem to be rushing their options on offense. The defense on both sides really stamping down, applying the pressure. Krasnitsky, beautiful flick break over to Brugner. Krasnitsky, back to Brugner. Brugner unmarked. Perez opting to go for the poach in the middle. Benedicto denies.
Almost casual. It was so in stride. Just a little left hand casual. I'll get that out of here. Love seeing the speed out of Benedicto. Sharks again.
Escalona holding out the disc, trying to look downfield. Benedicto just off the chest, off the arm, bubbles.
Well, since the timeout, 4 more turns. That makes it double digit, 10 on the board.
With only 19 total passes. That is just
less than 2 passes per possession. GG.
Great maths, congratulations.
1.9 in fact.
Oh, so proud of you.
Thank you.
Kośnicki looked to Brugner, but didn't like where Brugner was standing. Asked her to move. So the handler initiated. That is the score. Yes, there we go, signaled. The question mark score becomes an exclamation mark. It's now 6-3.
Only our third hold of the whole game. Second for Seagulls. They've got 1 break to go with it. And that means with the halftime whistle having gone, you finish the point, you add 1. It will be at halftime at 7 still. So yes, it does remain the same, GG, as you had mentioned, even if Seagulls scored, as I questioned.
And so the games this weekend have been 45 minutes. It would have been a bit brutal to do 70 to 90 minute games as they are on grass.
I think a bit brutal is an understatement.
I also feel like if the points cap were at 15, we wouldn't have needed the 70 to 90 minutes really, at least for most of the games. For the Sharks, O-line, back out. Mas. There's quite a few cutters clustering in the same space, didn't like the options. Throw a bit low. Seagulls wanting to answer back. Can they get another break? And they do! Laurun.
Boom. Germany. They get a little bit of support in the crowd. The Goldfingers Club, they've showed up. They're cheering for the Seagulls from Hamburg. And the Seagulls from Hamburg feel the energy and respond, get a takeaway and a huck on the mark. Laurun showing some speed again. She had that layout block earlier that was a spark and an energy giver. This one again, the huck reception. Laurun doing what she can to keep her squad in this. They've got some work to do, but they're proven that despite the super flat start, they do have some energy to give. They do have the potential to start swinging here.
Laurun already collecting 9 assists and 5 goals throughout the rest of the tournament. So sitting pretty comfortably amongst the top statisticians for Seagulls. Now can Sharks answer back with a clean and confident hold here? Defensive pressure is stifling. Andrade finds Prada. Quick dish back to Mas. This is the beautiful give-go movement we've seen before, but that seems to be airing us. The wind picked up at the wrong time.
Uh-oh. Could this be another break? Certainly another chance, and they have been getting better with their chances.
And the cracks are starting to show in Sharks. Perez still standing in that dump space. Kośnicki with a stall count rising takes on the throw and hope, but Prada says no. Andrade saunters up, picks up. Again, the wrong edge. A miscalculation in the cut from us. Yeah, the cracks are really showing here, starting to get a bit bigger. Kośnicki. Schilke. Perez with the force, really shutting down every single option. Clips. Kunai. Kunai with eyes for Schilke. Takes Kośnicki instead. This Seagulls offense seems to be quite handler-led at the moment. A lot of the cuts are staying pretty stationary. Beautiful inside throw, but Prada again! Second D of this point.
Yeah, first time she was in the lane and took it down standing up. This time she throws the body into the lane, gets horizontal for the knockaway. Prada stepping up here, giving Sharks another chance.
Mas cut deep, but Andrade saw the defense was a bit too close for comfort. So sticking with the more comfortable option instead to Perez. Perez finds Prada. Prada overshoots Mas! I'm not sure whether it's fatigue, whether it's the defensive pressure, but something is slipping in this Sharks defensive line.
Yeah, they cannot get it together. This is their official O-line out there. But they are not able to put together their offensive possessions.
Kwasniewski saw the option that she liked, but again, why would you throw that option when Prada is standing right there? That is the third D for Prada.
And after a relatively tidy start, at least for Sharks, their ability to break on first tries, we're on our second point in the last three where we're mounting turnovers again onto our sixth in this point. We had a 10 turnover point 2 points ago. And so offensive efficiency slipping, that is a tale of fatigue more often than not.
Perez wants this over with, saw Mas going deep. Mas putting up the hand in apology. That was a bit of a laser. Again, the wind has gently started to pick up. So we've got a fair few turnovers again. 7 total turnovers, so 4 for Sharks, 3 for Seagulls. Only 11 passes. Another turn, that is number 4 for Prada.
I mean, she is padding her stats, if nothing else, at this point. If there's going to be that many turns, you might as well credit yourself as many blocks as possible. And Prada is stepping up to pad the block stats.
Andrade wanting to close off this point. Mas at the back of the end zone. Does catch, but she knows she's already out.
And there's another one. 8 total turnovers on this point.
It was really quite close. The fact that Mas had the awareness to be able to say, yeah, no, I wasn't in at all, rather than trying to make some sort of argument for it. It's honestly creditable. There's been a long point already. Kwasniewski, floaty disc over the top, but Maya reads it better. Krebs has an option in the end zone, takes on for Schilke. Schilke for Seagulls! Second break in a row.
Wow, nobody's Sharks unavailed halftime. Remember, it was 6-2. It seemed like it was all a formality. Was Sharks going to take the half? They still may, but now only up by 1, 3 in a row for Seagulls, and they are storming their way back into this game. That time shooting over top of Aina Perez, one of the top players on this team, one of the top upfield players. A great throw, well measured, and to an even bigger receiver on the opposite side in Schilke.
That's Schilke's second goal of this game. And Seagulls seem to be a little bit better under pressure at this point when it comes to. There's been a fair few turnovers generated. Let's just keep grinding, keep grinding. Because as soon as there's been maybe 1 or 2 turnovers, the Shark O-line crumbles and they're making slightly poorer decisions. So hopefully they can switch things up, assert themselves to take this half. San Marco. Up the line to Escalona. Around to Prada. Prada is on pretty much every point at the moment. Benedicto. A laser cut from Escalona up the line. Dishes back to San Marco. Benedicto on the front end zone corner. Textbook offense.
Et voila, they are there. Half has been taken. A clean hold. They've been so few in this game. Again, only 4 holds, period. They all have, the 3 out of 4 of them have been clean, including that one. But a rarity in a game with 12 points already scored. But Sharks do finally take the half.
Yeah, it's certainly been a grind for both teams. So trying to work hard in the end zone here. Trying to keep some isolation available, but Benedicto's speed in that front end zone corner is what opened up the defense and provided the option for them to take half. They're only 2 points ahead at this point. They've taken half, so we don't have timed halves here. It's just the switch over of possession if it's required, the switch over the end zones if it's required, and then you carry on playing as normal.
So we will carry on. How long are we into this one? 37.5 minutes. Games, of course, as Gigi mentioned earlier, 45. So we're pushing 8 minutes, less than 8 minutes to play here.
It looked like at the start of the game that we were going to see almost a blowout.
Yeah, it looked like this was going to be one-sided, and then the Seagulls showed up.
Landed on the sidelines, going to be taken. It's not going to be taken as a brick. Is it going to be taken as a brick? Yes, it is. They're just trying to find the tape mark on the sideline here. So Mas establishing. As Perez has the first cut, really beautiful 7 cut there. Trying to find Cobos at the back, and does. Back to Perez. Costa Colomer. Cobos. Perez, speedy feet across the sand. And Cobos, again, a clean hold. Can't really say much to that.
Now they're making something of it. Now they're making something of these clean holds. You see them play like that, and you sometimes it takes you back to wonder how it was possible to have those points with 8 and 10 turnovers. The Sharks' offensive efficiency should be like that. Aina Perez was great in getting separation and at a hand and distribution. A couple of great throws there, including the leading throw to Cobos for the goal. But also earlier in the sequence to spread the width to go not nearly sideline to sideline, but some lateral movement, stretch the defense apart, and give every cutter a little bit more leeway as those defenders were on their toes.
So a low, fast, spinny pull. Rolls in the sand. Brugner. Seems to be a collision in the middle of the field. But Klibs made sure to catch the disc regardless. I don't think she was aware of the fact that there was a foul. It's been accepted. There's that catch again from Klibs. Just in front of where the collision actually happened. And it looks like Maya is the one who has called the foul.
Just cut a little bit of their collision. Not sure how they led into one another. Maybe.
It's difficult to call. It looked like Maya was trying to go one direction and Prada the other, and they just happened to be in each other's way.
Did it affect the next throw to Krebs?
It doesn't look like it has. So Benedicto is checking it in. Krebs dishes to Maya. Looking for Brugner, so Brugner clears instead. Schilke coming to the back space. Has Klibs again. Klibs on corks. Kunai for Seagulls. Clean hole trading.
And that is the first of that nature in this game from one hold to the next. So the second half getting tidy. And as the Seagulls keep it within 2 here. Tighten things up. The big throw finding Kunai. Here's another look at that throw from Krebs. Opens up the arm and puts Seagulls back on the board. They're going to have to get their defense going again as they did towards the tail end of the first half. If they're going to get over the hump. It was excellent to see them making a game of this with 3 breaks in a span of 6 points towards the tail end of the second half. You know, chip away, 1 break here, 1 break there in the second half, and things will get very interesting towards the tail end.
They certainly will, and I'm very excited to see the results of that. We get to see the Seagulls D-line. How are they going to respond? Andrade with the confident reception of the pull. Nava dishes up to Perez. Perez across the Cobos. Mas misreads where the disc is. It sails over, just tips over the fingers.
Yeah, those ones hurt.
Lauron fakes the backhand. Has 2 options coming under. Instead, boosts it.
And while there's nobody home, you can tell that the stall count was rising. Very few options. That's the best case scenario as far as the turnover is going to go. You know, the high stall count, sometimes a little, something speculative in the dump space. Well, that's going to give them the disc and good field position. If you're going to give the disc over, at least try and preserve a situation where Sharks got to go the whole distance of the pitch, as is the case now.
The offense set up in a horizontal stack, so 3 cutters across the center and 2 handlers across the back. Perez isolated. Perez finding Cobos, pressure on the back, but not a problem whatsoever. Mas trying to find Andrade. Andrade manages to get free. Quick bash back to Mas. They're big stagnant. They're not coming too far under at all. Perez is completely marked up by Cobb. Andrade takes on the big option. Mas with full concentration that time. Eyes on the disc.
And Luna pulls out the laser and sends it on a wire to Mas just as the possession seemed to be slowing down. Trapped, a little bit stuck seemingly on that far sideline. Luna measures her forehand and sends out this absolute dime to a wide open Julia Mas, and that brings it back to a 3-point lead, 9-6, as we trade into the second half. Not a clean hold, but another hold.
And I believe I just heard the end of game whistle. So it's 45 minutes elapsed, so we'll finish this next point and then we'll add one to the top score.
So it will be a game to 10 or 11, depending on who scores this one.
And Klibs opts to just let that fly and sink down into the sand. Sends it to Kunai. Kunai bolts up the line again. Klibs with a beautiful break. To Breukner. Schielke didn't like any of the downfield options, so looks back without hesitation. Ooh! Klibs on the second reception throws it up to Kunai. Kunai having to read. Oh, that was so difficult, just soaring overhead.
It just kept pushing back towards the center of the field, that outside-in shape on it. Kunai had a good chase, but would have required cheetah-like speed to finish the route.
So Escalona takes her time to get up to the front end zone line. San Marco to Prada. Áñez to Benedito. The Sharks D-line is firing on all cylinders. Benedito also having to just tiptoes it in. That will be a game to 11, Steph.
That is big for the Sharks to get that kind of late separation. 1 away from victory at 10-6. And the Seagulls, as much as they fought back from their slow start, with the Sharks starting on offense in the second half, they got the 2 for none. And now with the first break of the second half, it is a very difficult looking prospect for the Seagulls to be required to not only hold here to make it 10-7, but then to be able to break 4 in a row.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. No, 4 to win.
Yeah.
Oh no, after the hold it would be 10-8. You're right. 3 in a row after that, GG. You complimented my maths earlier, but you can take that back if you like.
I'm so confused. It's not my job to do maths, it's fine. Our job is to speak.
Yes, but sometimes we have to include that math. And I got it wrong, but GG keeping me in line here.
I try my best, I'm wrong sometimes a lot.
It happens.
Lauron. Caught, but pressure from Prada. Again, at this point, if somebody's been marked by Prada, I wouldn't throw the disc to them at all. So Sharks knocking on the door of the bronze medal. Trevino trying to find Andrade, does with a quick push pass. Andrade sends it! Beautiful work, Romans for Sharks. Absolute elation. That game went back and forth in terms of energy. The birthday balloon being wobbled and jiggled around.
Wow, what a finish there. I mean, I think you got to give it to Prada as the player of the game. Every time required, stepped in to get blocks. Block after block after block. I think credited for 2 officially, but there is some. I think there were more than that as far as the game went. Luna Andrade, game-winning assist. Rebecca Romans and Luna, a great connection between those two. Romans, a bit of limited use throughout the game, but to be able to step in the late game moment, seal the deal, catch that game-winning goal, and provide Sharks with a European bronze medal for their efforts here in Gdańsk. Something special, and you can tell they are now finally pleased with their efforts as they bounce in jubilation and celebrate this big win for Barcelona. No doubt they'll be in the fans, in the crowd, in the grandstand while their open team plays in the final fixture of the day. But great show. Seagulls just a bit too slow out the gates, GG. They sure did make a game of it, but to come back from that 4-0 lead was too tall of a task in the end.
Yeah, that 4-break roll at the start from Sharks. Honestly, that is so difficult to come back from that, and genuine absolute credit to Seagulls for grinding through everything. There were multiple points where there was double-digit turnovers, and the Seagulls came out on top on both times. That just shows the grit and determination that it's taken to get through this game, and the high pressure and intensity that Sharks have provided. So guaranteed medals for Sharks in both divisions, Open and Women's. Congratulations to Sharks for that win. As we just get a little breakdown of the stats, what stands out to you, Steph?
Well, 13 break chances generated, I think, is the biggest difference. 13-9, I mean, that is battleable. The 9 against 13, if your efficiency is great on those 9, you can play, but 3 for 9, batting 33%, nearly more than 50 for Sharks, getting 7 of those 13. And that is the big difference in the game as far as those stats tell us. Clean holds 3-2, neither, as we mentioned, were putting too many on the board. Holds in total, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the game completely. It was a game of breaks. The defensive units were generating and converting more often than anything else happening.
So again, you'll see their Sharks celebrating their bronze medal win. Again, congratulations, commiserations to Seagulls, and happy birthday.
And the birthday, I think that's Linda San Marco in the middle, the 31-year-old. Or is it 13? I wonder which way those balloons go.
Doesn't really matter at this point. We've got so much more action coming up for you today. So our next game on this field will be the bronze medal in the mixed division. So Murciélagos from Spain versus Outsitters will be here in about 10 minutes, 9-10 minutes.
Can't wait.
Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.
Just give me, give me try.